Welcome back to Conversion. Still to come, it's back to the future for Gordon. Craig says what he really thinks about the apartments. And it's party time as the team get together one last time to marvel at their handiwork. Many long weeks ago, Craig and his team took up the challenge of building an impressive floating mezzanine in the roof space, giving the fourth flat an additional bedroom, bathroom and enormous open-plan living area. Gordon had intended having a second spiral staircase, but with the positioning of the bathroom and the bedroom accesses, this hasn't been possible. Instead, Craig is installing a standard enclosed staircase that will allow for the different heights of the bathroom and bedroom doors. It's much easier to fit and costs significantly less, a saving Craig really needs at this point of the conversion. And now that's in place, it's upstairs to meet a man with a solution to the problem of heating a very big area.
As you know, we put underfloor heating right the way through the whole house, which is fantastic, but it's actually raised our floors up by about 4 inches. Up here in the mezzanine, we can't afford to take these floors up anymore, but we still want some underfloor heating. So Peter has brought this fantastic solution along, and Peter, it's paper thin.
It is.
How's this going to work?
It's a carbon-based heating element which is converting the AC voltage passed through it into an oscillating mechanical wave which passes up through the floor into the room and warms the objects and people within the room, therefore raising the temperature.
I see, so this actually won't feel warm, but it'll make everything in it.
It'll make everything else warm.
That's fantastic, and I don't think it could be any easier to fit neither. You've got 5mm floor insulation, which will help with sound impact as well. This just rolls out and puts it on. How do we get our electric going through it?
Electric comes through the cables on one end, and all the elements are paralleled to the adjacent element, and then a single pair of wires run back to a timed thermostat which controls the room temperature.
Up on the wall, that's fantastic. And what do we finish this with now? What can we put over it?
Put a sheet of DPM over the top of this just to protect the element from the floor that's going to sit on top of it, and then straight down on top with a floor surface.
The floor surface, okay. We're putting carpets on here, so it's advisable to put a little bit of plywood on there first.
Plywood on top just to protect it.
Excellent, well, let's go on it.
Unlike regular underfloor heating, this high-tech solution converts the AC voltage using a carbon-based element. A mechanical wave creates oscillating particles that then pass through the air and heat up the objects inside the room, including people. The top floor of the house has had the biggest transformation.
We're up here in the highest point of the house.
Walls were stripped, taken down, moved and rebuilt. Cracks repaired as a result of rotten lintels in the floor below. A mezzanine floor was constructed, as was a new roof with new skylights. They've created a breathtaking contemporary penthouse with a crisp white colour scheme. 2 bathrooms, and of course that awe-inspiring mezzanine bedroom. But is this the future of interior design for Gordon?
The interesting thing about this top floor is that it was top of the building, it represented the future, and it represents really Craig and my take on the future. And the more minimal we become in our lives, the more we take out, the less we actually end up living with. And the end result is this: pure, beautiful white. There's very, very little colour, splash of orange in the corner over there, but that's it. And I think in terms of trying to create that, I think we've done it really, really well. It's keeping it so simple. There is no extra things in our lives. We have what we need, and that's that. And I'm really very happy with it. The things that really push the boundaries here are moving away from hard lines and hard edges. So we've got curved plasterwork, which is not that easy to do because, you know, we are talking about the future. The facilities aren't there really yet to do perfect curves, but the boys have managed to do that. That's great. We've got the ball lights here on the floor instead of more traditional lighting that we might normally have, like lamps on the table or lamps in the corner of a room, you know, on a stick. It seems a bit archaic when you say it like that. The mezzanine here is interesting because we are right up in the gods of the house, and there's a huge space up there. And again, when we look at the future, it's about using space to its optimum, and that works really well. We go up the staircase into that sort of lofty area. It's really beautiful and serene, and made even more so by having the bed in the middle. So again, we're pushing back the boundaries of what we think is right. get furniture in the middle of the room, being able to walk around it and for it to breathe. And if this really is the future, I am really, genuinely very happy with it.
So that's it. The final flat is done. Let's do the maths. Originally, Craig set out with a budget of £250,000. He bought the house for £50,000 and estimated it would cost £75,000 for raw building materials, £25,000 for labour, and he allowed £100,000 for design, which would include the kitchens, bathrooms and flooring. With all of the unforeseen and uncosted building jobs, the materials rocketed to £96,530 and had a knock-on effect on the schedule, bringing the additional labour costs up to a staggering £44,350. This huge but necessary overspend meant that Gordon's £100,000 budget was cut by £40,000, leaving him with only £60,000 to fit out all 4 flats. He finally spent £10,790 on kitchens, £11,682 on all 7 bathrooms, £19,400 on flooring, £5,320 on lighting, £1,200 on paint, and £19,922 on furniture and accessories. Including estate agent fees and interest charges, this brings the final spend to £277,194. An overspend of £27,194. Craig will need to rent the apartments out for £1,760 a month just to cover mortgage payments. If he was to sell the flats in the current market, the value of all 4 apartments is estimated at around £326,000. So Craig could make a conversion profit of just under £49,000. So has it all been worth it?
If you consider what this house was like, first of all, it was a damp, dark, ugly, neglected cave with wallpaper. And it was horrible. And I really did think, you've gone mad, you've gone insane. Well, no, you walked in here and...
I recap your words, actually, once when we walked into that basement. It was the first time you arrived in the basement. And you just looked at it. Oh. You said, Craig, you've gone mad.
Well, I really thought you had. I really thought you had. And actually, considering what it was like and all the work that went on, I think we've got 4 fantastic, underlined, you know, capital F apartments.
Apartments, have you?
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Now, would you, because you've had a love affair with this building, same as me, would you ever consider selling these, or is this rental to the core?
I think as the project went on and I become more personally attached to it, because you can't not help become personally attached when you spend, you know, 100 hours a week here and you're putting your life savings into it, you're exhausting everything you can lend and actually put into it. You can't not become personally attached to it. As the project has grew on, and I've seen the development, I've seen the extension being built, I've seen the entire front of the house being built, I've seen the basements, you know, being converted, the mezzanine, etc. You can't not want to live here. As the build has gone on, I've wanted more and more to actually live here.
If you had to live in one of them, which one would you choose?
If I was to live in one, Gordon, I would definitely say music and arts, apartment number 2. What about you?
Good. Well, it's good for me because I'd live in the future, obviously.
The future?
Yeah, absolutely. Eye for the future, that's the place for me. Now, listen, we're running short of time because the boys are coming back. We're all going to have a drink and celebrate a job well done.
Well-earned drink, I think.
Absolutely. You sound knackered.
I'm exhausted.
Well, drag yourself and get changed, because I'm not changed. I think I'm all right, but you need to freshen up a bit. And I mean that really nicely. No, go. Go.
In 6 months, the property has been transformed from a tired and crumbling hovel to a bright and contemporary group of flats. It has bold colour schemes, ingenious design features, stylish bathrooms, and fully functional kitchens. Each apartment has been given a unique and individual identity.
I'm there while the cameras live on me, brushing my teeth over as full of dishes in like a cup of water from a couple of days.
The team are back to take a look at their finished handiwork.
My first memory when I got here was when the face of the building, there was no face.
Well, it was a bit of a wreck.
First got it, it was just empty. This room weren't even here. The spiral staircase, they weren't even opening for that, yeah.
And who can overlook the burst water main?
The water pipe that burst outside, that was one of the things that we didn't expect to happen, but obviously things don't always go right.
And the almighty job of the bay window.
But the bay window was a phenomenal job, to be honest, because I mean, it all started with the rot problem. We found it throughout the whole building, but I mean the bay window was just something you could look at and say exactly what can rot do to your house, and that was it. Well, it can cause the front of your house to fall out.
So while writing on the wall, which has obviously come from your book, what was your first impressions when you seen it?
I was trying to figure out who wrote it.
As an architect, do you think this is converted well?
I think it's converted excellently. I mean, you and I have done it, so I'm bound to say that. So, but I think it's worked really well. Cool. I think the separation of spaces worked well. I think the way it laps from front to back, particularly this apartment, is really interesting. I could live there myself. In fact, I think I'm going to move in.
It's been tough, and we've got over the mountains, but I think we've got there. I think it's brilliant. I've loved it.
Totally agree. That's been the most toughest thing I've ever did. Yeah. But just look at the results, what we've achieved here. I mean, you designed this.
You built it.
But it has been a roller coaster of a conversion.
And do you know what? I've got another idea, right? Oh. Not a house.
I need a rest.
No, I need a holiday at least. I'm thinking big. You know, church.
I'm seeing the beach. I just want to relax and go to sleep.